Bam, bam, bam.
Live
All
now.
right, beautiful. We are live. All right,
100%.
is it ready yet? Is it live now? Is it live
90%.
properly? Yeah, you guys are there. We good? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
No, not you, not you. I'll make sure. I'll make
Oh,
sure we good. We are live. We
we're
are
good.
live. We are live. We are live. All right,
Lovely.
cool. Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're talking to you guys today about Married at First Sight, and we're going to talk about episode 13, which came on last week. There are going to be some interesting points of discussion. I know many of you have your own viewpoints. I know very heated, contested debates and arguments around the Miles and Karen situation. There's also some as well around Christina and Henry. And obviously your favorites, Woody and Amani, staying strong as they are. And we have the lovely Bennett and Amelia going on as well. Don't worry about that, Captain. You're good. Don't worry. And so I hope you guys come with your comments. Please start asking the questions early because we finish at 8:30 tonight. Okay, guys, I'm on my best behavior now. Okay. So we 8:30, we're done. We just shoot. You know what I mean? That's cut it off like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here with my favorite guests as always when we're discussing Married at First Sight. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. If I go from Curtis first, and then we'll let Sophie introduce herself. Please let us know what you do as always, and plug whatever you need to plug, Mike.
Boy,
Go
what
for
can I
it.
plug now? No, I'll just keep it simple. So yeah, this is Marriage UK. We're running for about 4.5 years. We work with couples, we work with singles, divorcees,
Mm.
dating, whatever you are, we're working with you. We help people navigate life
Mm-hmm.
and relationships as best that we and they can. And God is the foundation of it all. You can visit our Instagram page or our YouTube channel on This Is Marriage UK, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Beautiful. Go for it,
Nice.
Soph.
My name is, I am Sophie Hannah. That is my handle on YouTube and Instagram, but I am Sophie Hannah other than that. And I'm just creating content at the moment. So I'm creating content on YouTube. So make sure you follow my YouTube channel. I am Sophie Hannah. Instagram, I am Sophie Hannah. I'm on a weekly cultural show talking about things that are pop culture, politics, and everything in between called Ethnically Speaking. So make sure you catch our episodes on YouTube, and I do interviews with ethnic women, film reviews, but everything is handled. I am Sophie Hannah.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. Thank you again, guests, distinguished guests, for plugging yourselves as well. So I see people coming in now, and they're really getting. I know they're gonna get involved. I've asked them to drop questions early, okay? Because 8:30 we're done, guys.
I'm
Just let you
ready.
guys know.
I
Yeah.
am
All right.
ready. This
Ooh.
episode did not disappoint. This episode was
Ooh.
just fire. I'm
Ooh.
ready.
You ready? Okay, you know me.
Ready, ready, ready.
We like to start off strong. You know me. We like to start off strong. So you know where we're going to straight away. Okay. So this
Oh,
episode,
no.
Are you going there straight away?
I'm going there straight
Great.
away. Sir. I hope you warmed up.
Bro, you got to warm up though, innit?
You warm up.
No,
Listen,
no,
you
we
gotta
ain't
go
got
straight
time.
in.
We finished at 8:30.
We
We
finish
gotta
at
get
8:30.
in
We ain't got
now.
allow everybody else. We
We
just
ain't
deal
got
with this
time.
one topic. We just
This
deal with
is
this
the one.
one topic.
This is the one that's
Alright,
gonna
cool.
be deep.
Cool,
So
cool.
this because listen. I've had people message me. This is what I'm saying. This is how deep this topic is. I've had people message me defending Karen. In fact, they were actually annoyed at the way I presented certain things. Not everybody. Some people had been a little bit discouraged by the way I came at Karen. All right. And obviously, this particular episode, we got to see Miles actually say to Karen, "Not about it. If you carry on, me, I'm not going to continue this thing. You understand? I'm not going to go further than this, and we stop here, right?" And I think Dr. Pepper also got on to Karen as well in this particular episode. So I don't know where we're going to start from, but let me just start from this particular thing. What was your view to this episode in terms of Karen and Miles? What was your overall view? And then we
Are
can
you
break
sure you
it down.
guys straight
We're
there?
gonna
Like straight. Alright, cool.
listen. No play thing. You understand? Straight in. Curtis, it sounds like you want to go first.
Curtis,
No, Sophie, please go
I'm
on.
ready to go. So you let me know if you want to talk because I'm ready.
Sophie, I can
Look,
see you're about to go on. Go
Karen got. I'm ready. Karen got
Go
what
on.
was coming to her. Yeah. I have moved over onto the Kojo dark side because I'm just like Karen. I said this, and I just feel like you should call me Mystic Meg because I feel like I said last week if he starts to play hard to get, Karen is going to be all up in there talking about, oh, I really like him. And this is exactly what's happened. I said she's the sort of girl that's gone for guys that have probably strung her along. And if he starts to show a little bit of disinterest, then her antennas are going to raise and she'll be like, but he's a really great guy. I might miss out here. And that's exactly what happens. It's the age-old story. And I don't think that she's left it too late.
Okay.
I think Miles can be won around. The only thing I would say is when she was like, I don't know how to tell him. I don't know. For me, I'm like, kiss the man or sleep with him. You'll be able to make it very, very clear. Like, and this is your husband. And she's like, I don't know how to communicate. And she was like, what physical touch would you like? I'm like, it's very easy to tell him and show him that you're into him. Karen, let's not play dumb. So I think that Miles is I just hope that she doesn't start to fade away when he starts to show the attention again, because I don't know if her mindset is broken yet.
Kurt.
Well, seeing as we're all on the dark side, there will be no conflict here. I said it from the first show. From the first show. And the thing is, I don't watch it, and it's when it makes me watch it. And at first she's like, come. And I said, this is me. See that girl? That girl's trouble. She's looking for a bad man. She don't know what's good. I said that from the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And I was even wondering if somebody was feeding this girl information on the side about who and what. She must have had inside info or something, because she made up her mind a little bit too quick. And she hasn't moved from that one place that she entered in. Do you know what I mean? So I was looking at that girl thinking, you know something. And after a while, like you said, Sophie, and I said it 2-3 weeks ago when I was on, she gonna regret this, boy. And you know what? Here we are. You know what? In the back of her mind, she knows that this is as good as it could get. But she's afraid to embrace it. Miles, whatever he is or isn't, he's a good guy. And she knows this is a good guy. And you know what she will do to him? You know what she'll do to him? She'll mess that guy up. She'll mess that guy up because she would rather manipulate him rather than love him. Because we spoke about it last time.
I got to stick up for Karen just a little bit. Okay, it's a bit too much. Okay, I don't think it's manipulation. I think that she is just a woman who honestly doesn't know what's good for her. I don't think that she's purposely trying to push and pull with him or try to send him mixed messages. I think, as she has said, and as you guys have said, she thinks that a masculine guy is a strong guy who doesn't show his feelings and this and that, and that's what she's gotten used to. Now, I think she's begun to warm to Miles, having been married to him, but now when he's starting to pull away, she's starting to fall for him. Don't look at me like that, Chris. She's starting to fall for him emotionally, but I don't think it's conscious what she's doing. I don't think she's consciously trying to be mean to him, but I don't know if he's got the sticking power. Like, I know some men, me and your lovely wife Juanita on here last week, and we were saying, if you're going into a relationship and you're not used to a good guy, that guy has to be willing to see it out with you. He has to be willing to be like, I'm a ride or die. But I don't know if Miles is strong enough. I don't know if he's strong enough to take all of her stuff and not be like, no, I'm out.
Oh, you're saying too much right now. You're going. Look,
he was a discarded.
Sophie, hold on.
Look, that's all I'm gonna say. It's a truth.
No. You left the dark side already. Listen. How strong?
Okay,
that's
maybe
like
not strong
Superman
as the
having
word
kryptonite for breakfast.
No,
right?
I don't think so. I think that some men would be able to be like, I think she's worth it. I'm gonna ride it out. But I don't know if Miles can. I feel like Miles is kind of like, she's not giving me enough for me to want to stick around. That's why I'm saying if she wants to convince him, she needs to be a bit more physically intimate, whatever that is, because right now my man is getting nothing. No hand holding, no hugs, no nothing. He ain't got nothing to go on.
That's true. Yeah, he hasn't got nothing to go on.
This is it. This is scary because really she hasn't just not given him affection. This ain't Henry and Christina. This is not about the affection. This is about belittling him constantly.
Oof, he's going there.
She's insulted him passively and almost directly through the whole relationship. She hasn't even given him a proper, and I say kiss, like a proper kiss of security. Do you know what I mean? She hasn't shown him anything that is worth investing in. And you know what he did? I don't know how long they've been together. Day 30 something now, right?
It's longer than that. Because they were in quarantine as well. Episode 13, they were in quarantine for long. So
yeah, a long time.
Okay,
Yeah.
I remember seeing. I must have missed it, but there was a time frame on there, day 30.
Oh yeah. Day 83.
However long they've been. How many?
I think it was day 83. Wasn't it day 83?
Right. Shame on me.
Yeah.
So what has she really given him?
Not much. You're right.
She's been pressing that guy down in a way that, for me personally, I couldn't handle that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like I'm the most patient guy in the world, but I don't think anybody should tolerate that. Now, when you're married, it's a different game now, isn't it? It's a different game.
But they are married, guys.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Be careful what I say.
They ain't dating.
Yeah. Look, and this is the thing that I didn't really like about Karen in this episode, or let me not say her, a behavior that she exhibited.
Yeah, I love that.
Miles now can't go to work because of COVID, from what we can see, and he's a teacher, so he's at home. And then she was like, I don't know if he's going through another depressive stage. So he's sitting on the sofa. I don't know if it's a depressive stage, but I think it's difficult. He's in lockdown, and those flats are tiny. Any person would be going mad. Any person, mental health or not. And she was just kind of like, I don't really have time for this right now because, you know, like I got work and I don't really. And I was just like, no, you're married now. So if it's his problem, it's your problem. And you need to be chatting to him. You can't be on your computer typing. She's like this, and he's lying in his blanket next to her, and she's not giving anything back. So I was just like, Karen, you can't be like, oh, I want him to be around now, but if it's a difficult time for him, I haven't got time for that. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. So she's gonna have to do something spectacular in order to make it around. I think now. She
needs to go on Amazon and order some special garms, some special lingerie, and spin this around. He deserves to walk out the door.
Down for it. If she did it, Miles would be down for it, like 100%. But we saw from the snippet for next week, he was like, he's still not getting no sex. I'm like, girl, you need to you've been married for what?
Hands. They
don't even do the simple thing. This is where it is a problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Next week, they would have been married like 90 days or something. I'm like, girl, you need to give him some sort of physical, whatever it is, something.
That's all it is. It's something. He hasn't got anything at the moment, isn't it?
And this is a little sign. Can we get him through? Let's be honest. I want to.
He got a little peck. He got a little peck. And he got a little tap of the ass as well. Just a little bit.
Exactly. If he got a little,
he got that.
Well, I mean, he did.
He did it to her as she was
touch her ass. That door. I mean, he did kiss and dodged, but I don't know. It was hard to see the angle was a little bit against us. So,
listen, some people don't mind just taking it any way it comes, but I think if you're looking at a relationship, man, it's got to be a mutual meal. You know what I'm saying?
No, she needs to be making a move on me.
She needs to climb on, man. That's it. And that's the thing. It's like, would you really want that if it was like, I'm doing this just to see you through the holiday? Do you know what I mean? To see you through to September. I was going to give you this just so you don't leave. It's like, who wants that? Some guys can do that. I think real men don't really want that kind of token sex, token affection. That is disgusting. For me, it's disgusting. I hate that sort of thing. But you're right at the same time, Sophie. You're like, give the man something. But the thing is, if you can't hold my hand, then how are we having sex? I don't get that.
And I just want to be very clear when I say give him something, it doesn't mean like she needs to, not like a sex worker. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying she's now saying that she has feelings for him. She's saying that she wants to show him physically how she feels. I'm like, there's a very easy way that you can do that if you're willing and you do actually have feelings for him. But she's, like I said, I think she's going to pull away when he starts to draw back in. I don't think she's gotten over that mental.
I said that in the last time I was on. That is it, because she only knows one language. She only knows one language. And I've been in a relationship like that where when I was being decent, respectful, I got this mad treatment. And then when I pulled away, oh, I love you, I want to
Suddenly.
be with you, and that is like cocaine. It's like highs and lows. Who wants that? You know what I mean? It's draining. It's draining.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hangover after every contact. It's a hangover. It's like
It's toxic.
That way of being. I can see that's how they're going to be until she gets to the root of it all and just gets naked about herself. You know what's interesting? There's a lot of interference. Is it? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
A little bit, but we can still hear clearly.
Okay. What I noticed is that her narrative hasn't changed since day one.
Yeah.
She's saying the exact same things. I want to see the real man. I want to know how stable. Why is she looking?
This is what I was gonna say.
Go ahead, bro. Please.
No. You come to you, bro. I'm just saying that you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Why is she looking for him to fall and fail?
Does he? That's toxicity.
To know if she can, to know that she can know him. Like, who?
Do you know what? That's a very easy answer, guys. She's obviously dated men who everything was good, and at some point she saw some sort of behavior or some revelation of their character, and she was like, oh, this is the real you. Okay, so she's obviously waiting for Miles to trip up. She can't believe that there's a guy who is genuine and nice and is going to be vulnerable and open, and that's not I'm not defending it, but I personally think that she's like, you can't be this nice. It's not possible. Every other guy I've dated who's been nice acted crazy in some way, or cheated on me, or broke my heart, or stuff, a whole bunch of things. But I think she's on the cusp of losing a good guy. Like he's getting to the edge now.
I bet I'm gonna bet you £10 for episode 14. How many episodes we got left?
I think we got 2 more or 1 more before the reunion.
Right, I bet you she's gonna try a thing and turn it around. She's gonna try a thing, and he is gonna become a little bit more empowered. That's my strong prediction. And you're gonna see when he's sitting down in a chair at the reunion, his back is gonna be straighter. And she's gonna take some. You know what? She's gonna go into the real world, hear what everyone's saying, and probably not necessarily have changed for the right reason. But she needs to turn this around.
Oh, your sound is going a bit scooty-doo.
Yeah.
Do
you know what?
Let me see. Hold on. No, it's not you know. Let's make sure.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay.
Is there a mobile phone near the equipment?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Are you all good? I think it's gone now. I don't know. It's gone now. All right. Yeah, it was strange. Maybe it was my phone. So yeah, I think you guys have made some really good points, and I think this is why the reason why I want to talk about this is because obviously, like I said, there was conversation around this issue in terms of Karen's behavior, and I think as we're discussing the surface, we're going to obviously, I believe we should go a little bit deeper and go into the whys of why this particular behavior can come up and kind of just address that, because I feel like that's what's not been addressed in the actual show. I think what's happened is, and I think this is why people get frustrated, is that once they watch the show, they're seeing Karen get away or seemingly get away with some of the behaviors that she's been doing, and then that seemingly looks like it's unfair and it's poor treatment of a good, I'm going to put in inverted commas, good guy. And I think that's where there can be a little bit of frustration for a lot of people. I think someone's even put a question here about the things. I think we can answer this. What was it? Someone said here, do you think her behavior could be associated with a certain privilege? Now, obviously, remember, we're coming from the American market, so a lot of our audience are American as well. So colorism is a very big thing. Color is a big thing as well. Finance is also a big thing. We spoke about this as well. It's much more different when it is in UK. But do you think that maybe a particular privilege or something like that could be a cause of her associated behavior? Or you just think this is just toxic behavior? I personally think it's toxic. Yeah. And I'll just say one example. When you said it, Curtis, was exactly what I was thinking. The fact that she's searching for the fault is no different from me trying to look through your phone, trying to find that text. It's the same behavior. I'm looking to find something to say, aha, I knew it. You are that person that I thought you were. And if you're looking for that, you know, you have to think about where your mindset is at and what's brought you to that point that you cannot trust that this person in front of you is who they say they are. If they are consistently presenting this, I wouldn't say good persona, but a person who can be trustworthy. I mean, she's had recommendations from the sister, from the mum, from the dad. Even her home mum has recommended Miles. I mean, I don't know where you can go to, even the expert. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else needs to give you a recommendation to say this person is hireable to be your partner before you accept that this person is good for the position? So I don't know if you guys want to talk and hit that again, but that was my little contribution.
So,
I mean, I was gonna say, like, in terms of the question, in terms of privilege, I don't know. Like, again, for America, she might have a certain type of light skin privilege. In that maybe in terms of that, if she gets more attention, if she gets a lot of attention from guys, then maybe she might feel, should I be really invested because I'm used to getting more of what I want? Because she said that on the wedding day, he's not my type, not my type. So maybe in the back of her mind, she might be kind of holding on to that. But I think maybe the penny's starting to drop with her that in marriage, that's not actually the thing that's going to help you, however attractive he is or good looking he is or whatever. Like, Miles is not an ugly guy by any stretch of the imagination. So I think he's the sort of person who you could warm up to if they weren't your type, based on the fact of how genuine he is, how vulnerable he is. But if she's having that sort of, if she's getting a lot of attention, then maybe she feels like this isn't my only option.
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, it's over here too. I think that, and it's from, I think a lot of what we are dealing with as Black people is coming from slavery. And so I remember watching a movie years ago when it was about 25, 26 years ago. I was watching a movie called Sankofa. Then you've got that term called the house Negro. And the house Negro sometimes will be categorized by the color of their skin. And so the slave masters would play division. They would play off their slaves. By creating distrust, by saying, well, the light-skinned one can come and work in the house. And then there will be a hierarchy. And I think that is just in society.
In general.
And light-skinned girls, since I've been in primary school, light-skinned girls had a certain kind of treatment and attention. And it does happen. And I think maybe on a subconscious level, as she walks through life, it may not be obvious, but it's still a thing. And you don't even realize the privilege you've got, but you walk in it and you've got that swag with it and you carry it. And with Karen, maybe, I can't say I don't know her enough, but I can imagine, being a slim girl. She's not bad looking. She's a slim girl. And she's so she's slightly attractive. And I think that she knows that to a point, but
that's pretty privilege in general.
Well, it's true.
That's a bit of pretty privilege in general. You're a pretty girl, and Mars has already stated that he finds her very attractive, which, by the way, hasn't come back his way either. Just saying.
Mars is a good-looking guy, and that's the thing.
According to Karen. Karen thinks he's handsome. That's it. That's as far as she goes.
Thinks he's handsome.
That's as far as she goes.
No, look, let me just cut straight to what I'm trying to say. I'd be out. I couldn't have that. If I ain't got your heart, I ain't got anything. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
But I think dark-skinned girls, slightly off topic, dark-skinned girls have a different challenge in society.
It's true.
So I think when I was growing up, it was a thing. Like none of the Black guys were really looking at dark-skinned girls.
It's trouble.
Thankfully, dark-skinned girls are more back in fashion now, but it's a feature. To answer the question, there is a privilege there. Do you know what? Sophie, it might be that dongle,
You have Bluetooth and dongle at the same time. Maybe that's what it is.
I turned the dongle off. I'm using I'm tethering.
I got some tethering. I love that.
Yeah.
bring on the broadband, man. We will come wait till you're blessed, man.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right. No, it's okay. It might.
okay.
Maybe if you move it further away from everything, then it might not. But it might be that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it is. I don't know. But the sound is gone now.
You're
I've
good now.
moved it further away.
You're good now. Flow on.
I've moved it further away. Gabriel?
But yeah, go on, Curtis. Finish the point you're making.
I think I did. To answer the question, I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't say.
I wouldn't want to be with someone who just wanted me for my looks, and I wouldn't want to be with someone who I didn't have their heart. It's like there's certain things that need to be for a relationship, before a marriage, and it's got to be about, look, do you like me? Do you want to be around me? Just simple things. And don't get me wrong, like I've always believed, we all come with baggage, we all come with brokenness, and Karen is that. And to be fair, let me climb out onto Sophie's side of the fence. It's like, she is who she is, and I'm not. As much as I critique how she has been, the only thing I'm really angry about is that I think she's manipulating. She wants Miles to bend to her insecurities. And the truth is, he can never bend enough, because you can't feel that hole like that.
Yeah.
So I'm annoyed with her on that basis, but I'm not annoyed with the fact that she is who she is. She is genuinely, like, she could be messed up. She could have had some real experiences that are just life-changing. And I don't think she's been honest about them.
That's what, okay. Yeah.
Go on.
That's it. Yeah. And I think that's what we're talking about. I think that's, in a sense, what we're kind of discussing, which is the fact that we're not given that opportunity to be able to see that, to understand that, right? And clearly that hasn't been discussed with Miles either, because he hasn't let, and he will let slip, trust me, he hasn't let slip that he understands that is the reason why she's behaving the way she's behaving. And I think, again, for anybody watching it from the outside perspective, it becomes very hard to and even when you're inside of it, it becomes very hard to give someone that grace to say, actually, you know what, I can understand. Do you know what, the behavior you're exhibiting, I feel what you're saying, because now you've told me where you come from. I can actually see why you're doing what you're doing. But without that, you just look cold and callous. And you look like you know exactly what you're doing, and you're trying to hurt somebody. And I think that's where it will look like from us, because we're having right now, we're filling in blanks. We're even giving grace by saying, look, I think there's trauma. I think there is something that's happening in the deep. I think something's causing this particular behavior, right? We're having to fill in blanks. But your partner, who really is in it with you, who's rowing the boat with you, is seeing you not rowing. So he's doing all the work trying to row down the thing, and he's looking at, and he's wondering what's going on. I'm not in a relationship. At the end of the day, I'll go back to my house. I'm not in a relationship. He has to be in a relationship with you. And so until he gets that information, he cannot understand as to why you're not rowing. He just sees that you stopped rowing. And I think that's where there is that antagonist fight. And I think, as you said, Curtis, correctly, she hasn't moved. Again, this is my thing. She hasn't moved from day one. The very thing she started off with is what she's ending with. He's too emotional. And you've come right to episode 13, and we're still on. You know what?
I'm annoyed with the counselors for not just being a lot harder on her and saying, you said that last month. You said that 6 months ago. It's crazy now. Like, come on. What is really going on here? Has anybody said that to her? And I think Henry's had a hard time. He's been cornered, you know. But Karen has not been cornered for her behavior. And I think it's scary behavior. Listen, it scares me to know that someone is manipulating and not being open and finding excuses.
Look, I don't think she's manipulating. Like, I think the majority of the couples have the same issue, which is there are so many. Okay, there are two couples on there who are willing to give the vulnerability that a relationship needs. Nobody else is that. So the only people are Woody and Amani and the hippie couple. Amelia and Bennett. Yeah, they're the only ones who are willing to be vulnerable enough to make a marriage work. Everybody else is out here trying to protect themselves from past hurts, not really wanting to give themselves fully, not wanting to really be honest, not saying what they really need from a person, but they're expecting that it's going to happen. So you have the counselors coming in this saying, but have you told them? Yeah, I've showed them that, and I'm like, but have you physically said what it is that you want and what you need? And they're like, no. They're like, then that's where you start. And I was watching this with my husband, and me and him were just standing there, and I was just kind of like, everybody tells you when you get into marriage, oh, how is your marriage successful? You see a couple who's been married 20 years, 25, it's like, how is it successful? And they're like, communication is key. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, communication. But no one, until you get into that marriage, no one really understands how the level of communication, like everything, every single thing, everything that you're unhappy about, everything that you want, everything that you don't like, you can't second guess anything. You have to talk about it. But people feel like they don't understand that communication. And now all these people have gone into a marriage trying to be like, I don't understand why this is that. And they're like, have you asked them? Well, no. So yeah, there's a lot of couples like that. And Henry and Christina are another one who are just not being honest.
Yeah.
But they both seem to want to make it work, but no one wants to have the conversation of how that's going to happen.
I agree.
Listen, man, you know how many married couples there are that they cannot be naked, even physically, in front of each other. Listen, man. Listen, putting a ring on a finger is the easiest thing you could ever do, man. It's easy. I lie. Book a wedding, take out 20 grand, 30, 40, 50 grand loan. Get that dress, get that suit, you do the dance down the aisle. The pastor's there, everyone says the right thing. Get naked, boy. I don't know about that. And I don't know if we're changing couples, but I don't know about it. But it's even in the case of Karen, like Miles is naked, and it's like she's just, I can't handle it. I'm not used to that. And listen, I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to that when I got married, and that didn't stop me from growing because I desired to grow. So let me be shocked, because there's certain ways that Juanita is, she's just open, and there's certain ways that I'm open, but there's certain ways that I'm closed, and vice versa with Juanita, right? So the thing is that we kind of help each other along the way. Yeah, it doesn't happen as smooth as you dream it will be, but it happens. And my thing is that my desire is that we grow. So on that basis, my mindset, you understand? So I'm not used to being that open, but because my mindset is of such that I really want it, even though it scares me, I'll do it, or I will learn to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be telling my wife what she ain't and how bad she is at, like, because I'm afraid to open up. I'm not going to do that. I will not do that to somebody. That's why I don't appreciate manipulation, Sophie.
Look, I would be very surprised if Karen has ever seen that level of intimacy or vulnerability anywhere. I'd be surprised if she's.
What about Woody though? What about Woody?
Look, Woody.
What about Woody? Woody's my boy.
Look,
what did Woody see?
Woody see where? Where did Woody see where?
I said, what did Woody see about intimacy? Where did he see intimacy?
Do you know what? That's a very good point. And talking about Amani and Woody,
yes, let's go on.
There was something that Amani did this week that I was just like, this woman is on some next level. I'm not talking about the DM. I'm not talking about that.
I know you're talking about.
When they were sitting on the couch
at the end,
and they were talking. You got me, Koja. So sitting down chatting, and then he was just like, she was like, so what are you worried about? He's like, I'm worried that I won't be that guy. And she was just like, you are enough. Always. Like,
Karen could never.
Like, and then he was just like, okay.
I'm sorry. No shade. Carry on.
I was watching this, and all I could think, I'm like, I said to my husband, his name's Jonathan, babe, I was like, this woman knows how to comfort her man. She knows how to speak to his fears. I'm like, because he didn't say it was a fear. She knew it. He said it, and she was just like, what he's fearful of is that he won't be enough. And she spoke directly to it. She didn't say what. She was kind of like, okay, and her emotional intelligence to know that and just speak to him straight away and give him the comfort that he needs. I was just like, everyone else needs to be taking notes, because no one out here is to anybody's fears. No, Olivia and Brett. Case in point. Look.
Don't say couples.
Look,
we gotta deal with.
You know when Brett moved out, And then she's speaking to the counselor, and she was like, I told him I don't want to watch the news. And he was just like, what's going on? And she was like, what, are you afraid of of COVID?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm afraid. And I'm just like, and then
That
I
wasn't
went,
it.
he's afraid. And what you do is up and leave and go to your families. And this man is definitely afraid of what's going on in the world. He has actually told you, and like for any person, look at that love. Look,
at that
for
love.
any person.
Woody and Amani got us doing a thing, man. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Karen
Sorry.
could never.
For
Yeah,
any person, and I hate to say it, but especially a man, to tell you what they're afraid of. For a man to say, I'm afraid of COVID, I'm afraid from like, I'm afraid what's going on. And for her to just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go see my mum, he's overreacting. I'm just like, you've completely missed it. Like, he was being vulnerable with you. And I think after that last piece of vulnerability that she obviously dashed in his face by going off to see her family when he didn't want to, and he asked her not to.
That's true.
It was the end. So that's why I'm saying everyone needs to learn from Amani and Woody, because no one is speaking to the deeper levels of their partner's feelings apart from them two.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I ain't gonna lie to you. Karen could never, like I said, because she didn't do it. So no, on the rule, I actually hear what you said, and I think when I watched that scene, I was very much impressed. It's because even myself, like very much like Woody, I would never really often express the fear, right? Because the fear itself is that if I express the fear, I'm too vulnerable. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna make me feel ashamed or embarrassed, etc., right? As a man, you're kind of taught from early that don't expose yourself too much, because guess what happens? Someone calls you too emotional. Now, obviously, in the case of obviously with Woody and Amani, when Woody expressed that, you're absolutely right. When I saw the fact that Amani could sense, and I think this is, when the Bible says love covers a multitude of sins, that kind of comes to my head. I know it wasn't a sin, but it's a way that the love covered him rather than expose him to more ridicule or embarrassment, or even creating I'd say like a tear in the foundation that later on could become a problem. She actually covered it and said, listen, do you know what? No, like you are it's the fact that she even had the words to articulate and say to him, listen, at this point in conjuncture, and I think he will never forget that. I think that's what I call creating that exceptional safe space that in Christina and Henry never had, because when Henry exposed his fear, Christina said, "I'll help you get over it." It was like, yo, my God did not cushion the fall down at all. I think again, if we're talking about marriages, how important is that safe space for both couples, not just for man, but for both parties? I'm asking you guys a question: how important is that safe space emotionally for people in a relationship or in a marriage, especially?
Bro, this is it. It's like this. It is about safety. It is about safety. Okay. Now, in social services, both in the US and here, the number one thing is this: if you don't have safety, you don't have anything. Like, the first thing they do when they think a child is at risk or an adult that is at risk, they take them out of the home. That's the first thing they do. And people get upset. Oh, you're taking our kids. We don't think this child is safe. This is it. If you don't have a home that you can live in, that is conducive to your development, you are finished. You are. People nowadays, because a lot of us grew up rough, but you know what? Some of us make it, but a lot of kids, when you look at the stats on kids who do not have a safe place, they become prostitutes, they go to drugs and alcohol, they self-harm, they don't make it, they make it into the prison system. Their stats are real high. I have to be safe. Listen, it's all about safety.
Yeah, and I think when you think about the levels of communication, I'm going to get them jumbled up, but so I'm just going to paraphrase. But they were talking about the various levels of communication that you have, and there's like that surface level, like when you're passing someone on the street, you're like, "You're right, mate. Yeah, I'm good." Then it's like it's the surface level, and they said like the bottom level is like, I think it's like level 5 when you're actually sharing your fears and your feelings. And they were like, if your marriage isn't safe, people, they say, will stop about number 3, where they will like describe things. How was your day? yeah, it was all right. This happened at work, that happened at work. But then there's a difference between saying that and saying, how was your day? My boss really humiliated me today. And I just felt like a failure because that project that I was supposed to do just never worked. And he berated me in front of everyone. And I felt like less of a man because of it. That's the place they're saying you need to get to in your marriage in order to actually make it fit in and to grow. So when we're talking about safety, if it isn't safe, even in a relationship, people aren't going to tell you what their feelings and their fears are. They were like, babe, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine, babe. This and this happened. They said they'll describe things without actually telling you how they felt about it. And safety is everything in order to get everything out of a marriage that God has intended, because this is the level that God wants to go to with us as well. He wants us to be on level 5 communication with him, talking about our feelings and our fears, not just praying and saying, well, this happened today, God, and this happened, and bless this and bless that. It's like, actually, God, I really want this because it means something to me, because right now I just don't feel like it's good enough, and I don't feel like I'm good enough. And so other than that, you're not living in a fulfilled relationship. And that's why where people look so much at what Amani and Woody have, because they're like, man, I want that, because they just look, exactly. That is what people are seeing. They're seeing a deeper level of communication, and the others are literally living together, sharing a space, chatting about stuff, but not actually sharing what needs to be shared.
Listen, I remember the contrast is stark. It's scary stark. It's scary stark. I remember years ago, there's something I had to tell my wife, and as a man, it required me to be very honest and very open. But it also meant it was dependent on her response. And I told Winnie something, this is years back. And you know what? I thought, to be fair, she should not have it. She deserves to not respond. You know, I spoke to her, I said, I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I told her this thing, and you know what? I remember that day. She's done it a number of times, and I remember the day when her response was, okay, so how are we gonna fix it? Let me tell you, that changed everything.
That right there.
Because I hadn't at that time, my life circumstances as a married man didn't require me to take that leap. But I didn't know how far I was from understanding safety as a man with children, right? I had to say, her response changed the marriage. I had never experienced that before.
Come on, speak on it.
You understand? That was like, now I know I can tell her. And the reason why I don't, the reason why I hadn't told her anything after that is because I hadn't learned. So I hadn't experienced that I could trust her, but I hadn't learned it in my heart. I learned it in my head. So I'm still in that place. Because you know, when you're young and you're growing up and you do things wrong, you're going to get beaten, right?
Yep.
You get lashed. That's how we're wired. But when I came into marriage and you have a few arguments, you have arguments. But when I said, look, I need you to listen to me, and she did not go to the left or the right, she was like, okay, let's work this out. Gave me a hug. I was so shocked I couldn't handle it. I never cheated on her, by the way, people.
I know you didn't.
I never did that. just clear it up nicely. But it was a personal thing. You understand? It was a personal thing. And it's like, my wife took that thing, man. She made, you know, like when you have some flour and water and they're making a proper 3-course meal out of it. That's what my wife did with that situation. She made it safe. Can't lose when you got safety. Like when I could tell my lady anything, when she could tell me anything, that means we're working.
And I think I'm loving the comments from people, by the way, loving the comments that people are making about this. And I think what you'll see in terms of that safety, like someone has to be brave enough to go there first. And I think that's the saddest thing in watching Married at First Sight, is watching the people that are willing to try and go there and the other person who just isn't, who doesn't understand that actually they're trying to get to a deeper level with you. So we saw it with Henry when he talked about feeling like he was always that fat kid and how he really worries. And she was just like, I want a guy who's confident. I'm just like, you missed it. Like,
destroyed it.
if you'd have like gone there with him and listened and spoke, you would have seen, in my opinion, I'm sure she would have seen a different type of Henry. But she wasn't willing to go there. Olivia and Brett, when he told her he's fearful of COVID, that was her chance to step up and been like, no problem. Like, how do we deal with this together then? Because I want you to feel safe. And if you don't want me to go to my mum's, we can wait until you feel better because you're my husband. So I'm gonna put your knees first. Like, that's what these people are looking for. And I don't think they know how to articulate it. And they haven't, because they've gone into this marriage without any sort of there's no pre-relationship. There's nothing for them to bounce back on. There's nothing to make some of them stick it out. And I think that's why we saw Brett just been like, yeah, I'm done. Like, you don't care about what I'm saying, I'm out. Yeah, so I think let's do it.
Listen, Brett. Yeah. If I even get onto Brett, I just want to second what everybody said here, and I want to. Brett is another guy. I want to second what you guys have brought up in terms of the safe space, and the reason why I say that is because, like yourself, Curtis, this is something that do you know what? Only in this particular relationship I've actually experienced. So it's like I'm not blaming the past persons because also me too. Maybe I wasn't ready to enter a safe space. You understand? Because it takes two to tango. In some sense, it takes two to tango. But I felt like it was a conversation that me and Mrs. had, and my response that I gave, she said, "What's your fear?" And let me tell you something. I shook because I was like, "What? No. Come again." Like I was like, no. This because my point was I hadn't thought about the fear behind it. I was thinking about this is my point, this is my stance, this is where I stand. But the person was able to perceive and see beyond and say, actually, no, what is your fear? And then it caused me to stop, think about it. So, oh, you know
Brother,
what?
She's the one, you know. You know she's the one.
You know the ones, isn't it?
Okay.
You know the ones, isn't it?
Okay. Just say it.
You already know, fam. You already know. soon come. So you're actually right. So that's what's making. So I think talking about safe space, as we're going to talk about Olivia and Brett now as well. I think that is exactly it, because even before the COVID comment, there was an expression from both of them actually as well about their fears. I think this was in the last episode. I think Pastor Carl expressly stated the fact that both of you are experiencing your fears. His was that the fact that of someone leaving, and hers was also the fact that, she felt like she'd be shrouded and overrun by more, I guess, ostentatious personality. She would be no longer heard or seen. And I think the fact that both of them were running on fear, but nobody could step out of the fear to create the safe space and say, I will take this hit and I'll create a safe space so that when you come in, we can discuss this. I think it's what was the crux of the relationship, that just it wasn't going to go further. So I don't know if you want to talk about Brett and Olivia now. Yeah, Flo.
Do you know what? My main point's coming. I'm going to smash it down like it's going to be like a star hitting the earth. But
Lord.
But you know what? You just raised a point in a thought in my head. Relationships take fuel, and some relationships are running on love. Some are running on fear. Fear can fuel a relationship. Shake everything. Of course. Scared. I'm scared to leave him. I'm scared to put a foot wrong. I'm becoming Miles. Afraid to do things wrong. Sometimes a man is in fear of losing. He's going to be getting up every day, cooking, setting a bath.
This is it.
Buying treats. Fear-based relationships. You know what I mean? That's some scary business right there. But if you give me that, because Sophie didn't come in, I'm going to drop it. This is the thing about Brett that I was looking at today. Brett says, he's like, I want affection from this lady. He said it.
Yeah, he did.
I would love affection from this lady, and this lady's like, she don't even know why she don't want to give it. She don't even know why she's holding back, right? Strange. You know what I think is happening?
It's very true.
Brett is saying, I want affection. I'm open to it. I find her attractive, but he ain't made the bed.
Come on. Talk to somebody, eh?
No, come on, explain to us.
Right, I'm explaining. So what he's done is, you have to speak to someone emotionally. You can't just speak to them literally. Brett is a clinical man.
This is it.
So what he's doing is he's saying, I'm here for you. You can talk to me. You can enjoy my company. Let's build things together. Let's be affectionate. But what he's not doing is he's not fluffing up the pillows. He hasn't even put the sheets on the bed, metaphorically speaking, to make that happen. So he's not speaking to her. He's talking to himself. Do you get me? He's speaking to his needs. So Brett, I think is a good guy, but his sarcasm is basically throwing the sheets and the mattress off the bed. And then he's saying to her, come to bed emotionally. You follow me? He's saying, come to bed. Let's do this. The bed is here. And it's like, hold on. There's no mattress on the bed. Why? Because your sarcasm took it off. But Brett is on the wood slats. He's on the bed frame saying, we can still do this. Come on, baby. What's wrong with you? Then he was sitting in front of the counselors and go, she's not up for it. And I wish someone would have said, but Brett is like, but someone should say to Brett, did you even put a couple petals or roses on the, you know what I mean? Did you do that? Did you make it seem like sex is actually going to be something that you really want to do, that she wants to have with you? Did you butter the bread? You know, we can all get the same ingredients for a dish, right? And some people are going to make a mess of it, and some people are going to take even just flour and water and make this thing, and baked beans and make this thing crisp. See my dad, I'm talking a lot. Sorry, so
you're preaching.
You know what my dad used to do?
Look,
you know what my dad used to do? My dad used to make beans and cut up onions and fry waffles. You know, potato waffles, and fry 2 eggs, and everybody was eating, and that was the best meal for the month. Simple. Come on, self. I'm sorry.
I blame Olivia for it's not working out. I think the ball rests in Olivia's court, and I think Fiona's put on here, why are Olivia and Brett still together? They have long since friend zoned each other. I don't think that the friend zone was there. Like last week, we saw when he was saying that he's acting like a different person off camera. We saw them kissing off camera, like she's sitting in his lap, they're play fighting. There was obviously something there. But I think Olivia did not let her guard down at all. So when Brett went home, and then she's calling him, talking about, where are you? You took all the food. She's crying on the phone, and she's just like, she doesn't want him to hear her crying. She's just like moving the phone away, and then like, well, just explain. I'm like, tell your husband that you miss him and that you're sad that he's not there and you want him to come home. Like,
but would you do that for Brett? Brett, how does Brett?
I wouldn't do that.
She likes him, and look, no, Brett liked her. And I think this time
he's not palatable, man.
He's really not.
I don't.
He's
think
really
so.
not.
I think they could have brought the best out of each other, because she's a bit uptight, he's a bit too free. I think together, if they'd have found some sort of medium, it would have worked good for them. But when she spoke to the counselor, and the counselor was like, do you want this to work still? She's like, yeah, I do. So then when Brett came around to talk, instead of saying to him, I'm really sorry, and I want to make this work, and I want to be with you, she was just like, what she said this, and I was so mad. She said, I don't like things to fail. You know, I don't like.
That's why she's still there.
But this is the thing, Curtis. If your marriage was difficult, and you said, honey, we need to talk, and your wife was like, I don't like things to fail, I'd be like, so do you not like things to fail, or do you want to be with me? Because I just don't want to divorce. Exactly. That's basically what she said.
That's true. I ain't gonna lie, she said that.
And the point was, when she didn't actually say, I actually want to be with you, bro, I really like you, I don't want this to fail because I feel like we have a future. But he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm out, thank you. He actually said thank you. I was just like, bro, that's cold-blooded. Exactly. He was like, man. Deuces, I'm out. So that's where we see she didn't let her guard down. And her whole thing was, remember last week, she was saying, I don't want to be hurt, and that's why I'm holding back. And the pastor was like, well, it seems like you've got a fear of being hurt. And I think this was a clear example of, you can not let your guard down and the relationship fail, and you can let your guard down and the relationship fail. But which one are you going to feel better about?
Yeah.
Like, in the moment, you might feel like, well, you know, I left like a man, and I didn't really I didn't tell her how I felt. So I'm just like, no, you're going to look back and be like, I wish I'd have just been honest because maybe it would have made the difference. You want to leave a relationship or your marriage, because these are married, saying, I did everything I could. There was nothing I could have done. It failed because it couldn't have worked, but not because I wouldn't tell them how I felt. Because I think she's going to look back because she's left with her quote unquote pride, but then she's left crying at the end while he's walking off going to look over his cats and his equity.
See, you hit the nail on the head. You know, Pastor Calvin said the same thing. He said to Brett, I don't want you leaving knowing that, I don't want your marriage to end knowing that you haven't tried everything.
Yeah.
That stuck out for me because a lot of people think, oh, I've done everything.
Yeah.
But they really haven't. And how many people can ever say they've done everything?
That's true.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's some relationships you need to get out of because they're just bad for you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think a lot of people have given up well before they should have. You know, they're attracted to they will I think once you've got that physical or that physical attraction, I think you can go a long way. I think you can go a long way. And they're not horrible people, they're just stuck in their own ways. They haven't even tried. The thing, like you said, Sophie, that couple haven't even tried. Brett didn't even try to hold it down. Let me just hold the sarcasm in. When she's expressing herself, he didn't want to. When she was expressing herself around the table at times when she was crying, he'd be like, yeah, okay. And sarcasm was still rolling. And I'm like,
bro, ruthless.
RoboCop, you know?
Yeah. The stone wall.
You know? Scary.
It was cute at first, but it weren't at the end. You know what I mean?
Well, I like this comment that you put up. This comment that you put up, be open and transparent with Brett at a vulnerable moment. So you give a sarcastic response. For a Wendy, I hope I haven't gotten that wrong. But I think that's just really plays into what we talked earlier about this safe space and being vulnerable. Like, if she's being honest and he's just like, oh, stupid equity, you're just like, Brett, this is not going to help.
It's immature, man. Immature behavior.
It is immature. And people who don't have a lot of emotional intelligence.
I don't care if you see Brett's been cheated on before. He's not trying to get hurt again. I don't care. Who cares?
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. But this is the thing. A lot of people in Married at First Sight are trying to come into marriage with old behaviors and thinking that the issue was the other person and that I was ready for marriage. I just couldn't find no one. And then they get in the marriage. It's like, actually, the reason why you weren't ready is because you didn't want to be open. You didn't want to be vulnerable. You didn't want to try. And that's the reason why it's not working for you. Because everyone expects that there's going to be this perfect person who is going to make you want to bare your soul. Some of it is the person. Some of it is the person. But some of it, as Curtis said, is about you taking that leap and saying,
yeah, man,
I'm just gonna put myself out there. Because somebody has to. But what we're seeing is people, no one wants to put themselves out there, but they want to have this wonderful marriage.
Yeah.
I love what you said. Who wants to go first?
It's
who
not
wants to
pretty.
be vulnerable first? It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Go ahead, bro.
Nobody wants to be.
Nobody wants to go first. Nobody wants to go first. And I think that's the crux of the Brett and the Olivia situation. You've got, I call it the vicious cycle. His sarcasm was feeding into her not being able to be vulnerable, her then responding by being very firm, and then he felt a certain way because she was very firm with the way things he said. More sarcasm comes. So it just becomes this vicious cycle that you keep going round and round and round until someone decides to say, I will take the shot right now and I'll enter the ring and I'll throw my hat in and say, listen, do you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable at this point. This is where I stand. Yeah, and this is what I don't like, because as much as I think this is, and I think this is why it's so different from the Miles and Karen situation, that we can see clear demarcations of errors on both parties. How can you leave the house, Brett? You take the food in the pantry. That for me is pay. I ate it. No, but come on, bro. There's no need for that, bro. You could have gone home and ate food. There's just no need for that. Your explanation as to why you went home. I explained that I went home because the cat, because I told her already. No, you didn't. You said you went for your cats to look after them. You weren't meant to go home. You were meant to take your cats home. You see, he's lying. See, that in itself is where I'm saying it's petty. But then I also understand the fact that from his perspective, coming into a situation with Olivia where I know they were doing a little bit of touchy, I call it, some physical touch was happening, but there was a lack of, I would say, the chemistry wasn't fitting. It just wasn't clicking, right? And I think there was a little struggle in terms of him trying to get her to open up on that perspective. And it felt like, and I remember he said this, I think some episodes back with Pascal or Dr. Viviana, you're saying like, I want you to desire the physical touch. It's not that because I made a distinction between I'm willing and I want. That I'm willing means your permission. It's not that I don't desire it. I will do as you're calling me want to do. But if I want it, I desire it. And that's completely different. The reason why people cheat is because of desire. And you're now telling me you don't desire me. You're open to being willing to me coming into that space with you intimately. That's completely different. At that point, I can also understand Brett is tired. He's just looking at it like, bro, so you don't want me? And then the fears are probably speaking to him saying, you got cheated on, bro. And you're going to go with a girl that doesn't necessarily want you. And so now you got both of them in a ring with their claws out, going at each other back and forth, man. Man.
Baggage is a thing.
I was sad, I was sad because I felt like Olivia and Brett were more hopeful than Henry and Christina. I felt like they had more going for them to make it work. And to see it end the way that it did when I feel like it didn't have to, I was sad. Oh yes, Fiona, I was dying. She was just like, I came and your mug was left. Oh yeah, I forgot to pick that up. I was just like, Brett, seriously? Brett,
petty brothers, man. Petty brothers.
Petty.
You know what? I can't take
that's
petty
annoying.
Men, I can't.
Nah,
petty
man.
Men, it's not attractive. Petty men, like
yeah.
no.
It's not cute. It's not cute, man. That was not cute.
Petty is just
all the food in the pantry.
Oh, I can't tolerate petty.
Fair enough, it is a pandemic and he's afraid of going out. So maybe he was afraid of going to the supermarket.
I
so
don't care.
He could just stock up. But no, I thought that was cold. But I'm like, it's your wife. You're gonna leave with no food, and then blame the cat. Talking about my cat was getting scratched. That's why I left. I'm like,
that's another issue. Again, and I think that's where I started to see the pettiness of Brett and the fear really taking hold in that episode, because how do you explain that? And I felt it was like almost like a metaphor of their relationship. The fact that her cats were scratching his cat, and now he has to take his cat back home, because there was a point that he made which was that, and I think Brett's issue is that he doesn't communicate. So now we've got a situation where you've got Brett feeling a certain way, holding certain things in, but doesn't express how he actually feels. So it got to a point where Brett was saying that he expected her to come over to the house and they'll sort out some things of how she'll move in, etc. And when she didn't do that, I also understand that from his perspective, he's looking at like, yo, we've already had an issue about the money situation, about the fact that you don't save, about the house situation. You want to stay at your house, not mine. I can now see that now you're saying exactly, you don't want children. Things are starting to pile up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so I can understand why that may be a thought process. I don't agree with pettiness, but I understand why he may have felt like he had to leave. But I felt like he didn't communicate a lot of times. That favorite film of his that they were watching, did you tell me that's your favorite film? Did you let me know? You didn't. You got up and walked out the room. Now that is what I call passive aggressiveness. And I think when you are maturing, those behaviors you have to start to look at and say, this is not going to allow me and my relationship to grow. I can't expect you to read my mind. And I think, again, that's also to do with the fear. You're not responding in love. You're responding in the fear, and it causes a lot of issues like that. I don't know what you guys think. We've got last 10 minutes.
I fully agree. Okay, if we could talk last 10 minutes, can we please talk about Christina and Henry?
Go for it.
How is Christina saying...
we got Amelia and my man as well. We could do...
What are you going to say about them?
Cool. Christina and Henry, she's just like, when he goes out all day, he doesn't buy me no flowers. He don't see nothing in the shop and think of me. In my head, I was like, did you not forget his birthday? Did you not forget his birthday? Did you not forget your husband's birthday? No, but he forgave her for that. He forgave her for that. Come on. Curtis, unless he's saying he don't pick me up no flowers when he goes out. I'm like,
yeah, but that's how it is sometimes. That's how it is sometimes.
No, not in the first year, sir. Not in the first year, sir. Not in the first year.
You're in a pandemic. What else do you have to focus on apart from making his birthday special? What else do you have going on?
I ain't got no excuse for the brother. I'm just trying to say
Thank
that
you.
he
She
let
was
it go
on a
though, but she
madness.
was like, she couldn't let it go. But everyone's different, innit? Like sometimes, you know, forgetting if Winnie forgot my birthday, it's nothing to me.
Yeah, but you're
Nothing.
20 years in, mate.
Nah,
You're
man,
20
from
years
day
in.
one.
You're 20 years
Nah.
in, mate.
You know why?
Look.
Because I don't celebrate. I'm not a
I don't
celebrator.
celebrate my birthday. Yeah, I don't see it.
You understand? I mean, I don't celebrate anything. I'll celebrate other people, but I ain't celebrating me. So if she forgot my birthday, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But if I've got her birthday, it's not good. But
look, if you don't care about birthdays, Curtis, it's a bad example. Think
no, I don't care about my birthday.
Think about an event you care about, and then Juanita forgets
did she get you
it,
anything?
and it's just like, oh, okay.
Well,
that first birthday, did Juanita do anything for you?
I don't remember.
I'm sure if I ask Juanita,
no, I tell you what. Although I don't remember, Juanita never forgets anything.
Okay. Do you know how I'm telling you now? I can guarantee it, mate. Like even if you don't celebrate it, you appreciate the fact that she remembers that day, mate. I know it.
There's no doubt. I'm
not saying it's essential for you, but you appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at Henry, and I'm saying this in the light of Henry. Yeah.
He cares.
I'm just saying that Henry. He got no. Let me not disrespect the guy. Henry isn't really. How do you say this? I don't want to diss a man because this is who he is. Yeah, Henry just like he's not switched. That too. He's got some deficiencies. You know, I'm not trying to make too much excuses, but he's not switched on in certain ways. I think Christina would forgive that if he just did one thing now and again. I don't think she's asking for much, you know.
I'm not saying she is, but
I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. Still. Is that Anita on the screen? I'm with you. I don't understand how she forgot his birthday. She doesn't even have a house. Let's be honest. When he said it last week, it's very clear she doesn't know where to live. She hasn't got a place. And you can't remember your husband's birthday when you have a free place to live. I don't understand what's going on there with those two. And she went out. I mean, and Christina isn't completely innocent. Like she went out for a walk at 2:00 and then came back in the morning.
Yeah. We need to know where she went. You went out for 13 hours.
This something came to my mind. I remember she said she's used to getting into a relationship. This flagged for me, and I could be wrong. I
think you're right. Go on.
She said, when I get into a relationship, I'm used to just having sex and getting on with it.
On the first night, she said. A lot of times on the first night. Yeah.
Early.
Listen.
Yeah.
Again, people. This is something happened to her. Why people do that, and that is a feature of people who are, I think, with her, there might be signs of she might have been abused at some point.
Oh,
okay. And I say that in the light of when sex is so easily accessible for a woman, and we do it differently. Men and women do it differently. The fact that it's just not a feature in an instant, it tells me that something has happened with that woman, and I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect it strongly. And when she's not getting that, nothing else makes sense. The relationship, she's struggling to have a relationship.
Maybe she's just sexually free. She likes to express herself sexually, and she's owning that part of her life. But I think the fact that she does like to have sex frequently and often from what she was saying in uncommitted relationships, she's just kind of like, if she wants to have it, she's going to have it. I think it's very difficult now being in a position with Henry and not getting anything. Like when they're showing videos of them going through COVID and in lockdown, and every time they're on the sofa, they're sitting this far apart. Every time they're just sitting way apart from each other. I'm just like, there's no physical closeness here. And if you're used to someone who's having sex regularly, this is too much.
Man, when you're bored, that's the thing to do. Like if you're in COVID like that, and you're freshly married and you ain't doing that, Henry.
That's Henry too. I do believe that's Henry as well. I think Henry hasn't naturally. I don't want to say all, but I do definitely believe that Henry is a bit more. He's not your naturally inclined predator kind of apex predator male. Yeah, this is what Christina wants. She wants that male. She said it very clearly. I think it was episode 9
She
or
wants
whatever.
like an alpha.
She wants an alpha
man.
that's gonna lead. You understand? She done said that, and at
But
the same time, Karen was running ahead as well.
But she's fighting for Henry as who he is. She just wants something.
I mean, I don't see
She
that as
don't need
fighting.
an
I ain't gonna
alpha.
lie to you. I don't see it as fighting. I don't see that as fighting.
Christina's
I don't
still
see her
there.
as fighting. I know she's still there, but so is
Christina's still
Henry. I don't see him fighting either.
She's
I'm just saying.
there, but I think Henry's gonna check out, because when she accused him of being closeted gay, I was just like, oh,
Yeah, that was sis, you just don't feel you.
She getting
I don't know if she actually got those text messages. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if those text messages exist. And I I felt like she wanted a reaction. I feel like she wanted a reaction from him.
Yeah.
And I think what better way of kind of jolting him to do something a bit more physical than saying, "Are you gay?"
Yeah.
You know, you could be gay. And what's he gonna do? I'm gonna exactly. But I thought it was completely wrong. And I feel she's lucky she's with a man like Henry who was trying to rationalize it. Because I think plenty of men would have been like, "Sorry, what?" Like she I don't even
sorry.
Henry is Omega male. Henry's just I think that I'm just glad that he took that on the chin and that he wasn't, because he was just like, I don't even know if that text is real. I told her it's not true. I think she's desperate. She's desperate.
She made some mistakes, definitely. She made some mistakes, but I think she's a good girl, really.
Yeah,
I think that Henry.
No way.
I think Henry's a closet
you
alpha.
guys are bagging on Karen. I don't know how you're bagging on Karen and you're not bagging on Christina, because I think Christina is way more problematic.
Do you know why I can't give her the same vim as I give Karen? It's because in a situation with Miles is actually giving something, right? And with the Christina and Olivia, Christina and Henry situation, I'm not giving her as much vim because I can understand Christina's anguish here. This brother doesn't conversate. I'm just going to be real with you. Forget Apex Predator. He doesn't conversate. Not with her.
He can.
He can.
That's right.
And that's my frustration. He can, but it's not with her. Right?
But when he spoke to the counselor, the pastor said this week, chatting, he was just kind of like, well, pastor, I can't do that. He was like, you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't want to hear that, man.
And then he went to her to address her. His problem is he's timid. Okay. And when he meets Christina, I personally do think he's timid. When he meets Christina, he's scared. That is it. Because when the vibranium she gives back to him,
Henry's got a couple of straps and a whip somewhere.
He might do, but he's timid in the area of wrestling things.
Look, can't do Henry led with the wrong thing as well, because when they went to sit down and have the chat, I think you're lying, and I think you don't have somewhere to live. I'm just like, obviously, like my husband was just kind of like, well, obviously, if she's lying about that, that's something that you can understand. She obviously feels probably very like fearful of that and a bit insecure of what her living situation is, and he would just jump in there straight away, just like, so you're a liar. Because I was just like, well, this is obviously not going to make them move forward. Then she just walks off in a huff, and he was just like,
that is so rough. You know what you're saying? I feel so sorry for that girl in that respect, right? Like, if my girlfriend, not my wife, my girlfriend said, I got nowhere, and I found out that she had nowhere to live, we ain't having a conversation more than, we'll come here then, innit? But they're married. It's like, look, why couldn't you tell me? Man, I was embarrassed in it, it don't look good. Look, don't watch that. My house is your house. You know what I'm saying? We're married now. Don't watch that. I understand why. Not even that. I'm like, these ain't even. These are reptilians. These are not humans. You understand? They're not human.
You're right, Curtis. He went in at the wrong angle, and just watching that, you're like, this isn't gonna go well. We can just tell you this isn't gonna. This is not how you deal with
their
this
mindset. This is their mindset for like. I think that some couples, I've seen this with my eyes many times. I'm seeing it with my eyes. Some couples are married but separated, and it's like this is marriage to some people. Not this. This is marriage. The fact that we're traveling in the same direction or we live in the same house is marriage. And that,
Yeah.
I do not get my head around that sometimes. No, I'm not trying to say that my standard is the standard, although it is. But I don't get how people just move so separate. Call it love. I don't know how they enjoy any kind of intimacy when it's just like, I'm over here, you're over there. You ain't got nowhere to live. Why are you lying to me? The girl's homeless. Like, I don't even treat homeless people like that. I don't get that.
It didn't make no sense. But I feel, yeah, I feel that with those two, what you're saying in terms of people living separately, like together, I think people just get into a pattern, and it's kind of like it is what it is. It's not terrible. It's not the best. I don't want to have to start over.
But
I don't want to have to start over. But they're kind of like, we're comfortable in it. We're comfortable. Like, he's gonna watch the game. I'm gonna read a book. We're gonna look after the kids, and it's just
that I can deal with.
You stop striving for it to be more than it is.
I can agree. I can agree doing different activities, but if you're separate, you know what I mean? Like, like, listen, two are becoming one, so it's the mindset. You know what I mean? Like, you may be over here, I may be here, and I might be doing something completely different. But I expect that the two have a similar mindset. With Christina and Henry, unfortunately, there was no unification, and that was literally shown by the body language. Whenever they sat together, they couldn't sit next to each other. Whether it was him or whether it's her, I'm not sure, but they just couldn't sit next to each other. Right? It just wasn't happening.
The councillors need to speak to this. They need to speak
That's what I'm
to
saying.
some of these behaviours, man. Come on.
They did.
Like, what do you mean she's homeless? No. They told him to sit next to her,
and he got a little bit closer, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm not saying to her, man, well, sit closer to your woman then, because if he wanted to, he would have done it. I'm saying, why aren't you sitting close to her? They need to pay me to come on this show and say,
come on now,
Henry, Karen, let me tell you, because Calvin's not going to tell you. Vivian's not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what time it is. That's what we need.
All right, we're at last bars at the last orders at the bar, guys. Give your conclusions of the episode 13, and we'll round up this particular conversation today, guys.
I think, as always, I'm rating for Imani and Woody. They are out there setting the gold standard of what it takes to make it work. They're working through issues, they work through difficulties, and they're staying united and talking at a deeper level. I think the others need to learn to be vulnerable. It's the only way their marriages are going to work, but it's not looking hopeful.
Cool.
You have to be fearless, man. Don't be afraid of yourself. You have to be fearless. Look in the mirror. This is what I am. This is what I'm not. Just say it. Go up to your partner and just say it. I'm rubbish at this. I'm good at that. And where I'm rubbish, help me. Help me. Don't let me fail. When you see me falling, grab me. And when I see you fall, I'm going to grab you. You know? And I will never let you fall. And everything that I know I'm struggling with, I'm going to tell you. I am not scared of you, and I am not going to be someone to be scared of. This is that mindset that they need, man. Woody and Imani, come on. It's about time a black couple show people what time it is. We can do it.
Yeah.
We all came and we come.
There is healthy black love out there. Yep.
Even if we come from mess, we've got no dad, we're living in care, you could turn it around. Woody and Imani is the example. I like the fact that they come from wherever they're coming from. It's not an easy place, and look how they're turning up, man.
Yeah. And I would just say, to add on to that, guys, listen, there is a freedom in letting your partner know, listen, if there is a situation, if you're fearful, listen, I'm fearful of the situation. This is why I may act in this particular way. And I think that just frees you from having to act in a certain way that you're not used to acting. You know, and you got to be able to not fear the response. And I'm going to say that in a generous, if you are truly in a relationship where you're trying to make this long term, you want to get to marriage, etc. And if you are married, I think you have to almost get yourself to a place that you have to kind of be ready for any response, because the response you might get initially from the person may not be a ready one. Yeah. So when you're saying, obviously, I fear in this situation, this particular thing, and maybe the way I deal with it is this particular way, and the person goes, okay, well, I don't get why you do that. It may not be the response that you were looking for. It's not the Armani gold standard, I'll be honest with you, but you got to work through it with that individual person, because that person too could also be learning. And so they may not also understand or comprehend. I think that's the word we've been coming to last few weeks. Comprehend how also to respond in that moment. Just as you spoke about your fear, they could be responding in their own particular fear. So please slow down before you return back to sender with a backhand, and actually just take some time and make sure that you're both coming to the comprehending place of, I understand what you're saying now, and this is what I'm saying, and you understand what I'm saying. And I think that will make so much more of a difference for anybody's relationship or marriage going forward. So guys, it's been amazing. It's been good. Do you know what? This is a good 1.5 hour. I like it. Short, sharp, beautiful. You understand? Yeah. Guys, we really appreciate you guys who've tuned in for this week's episodes. I know you guys want to continue the conversation. If you do, listen, comment on the comment section below when the video is finished. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you're new. If you're a returnee, you already know you got the minerals. But yes, I'm gonna let my guests as well just plug themselves one more time, and then we're off, guys. All right. So we appreciate you. Go for it, team.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll go first again. This is Marriage UK on Instagram and YouTube. This is Marriage UK. We help people navigate the life, we help people navigate relationships in real life, real talk, discussions, counsel, support, whether you're single, married, or divorced. Hit us there.
Beautiful.
And I am Sophie Hannah. That's my handle on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm a content creator doing interviews that focus on Black women or ethnic minorities as well. And I'm also on a weekly TV online show called Ethnically Speaking, where we deal with current affairs and pop culture. But I am Sophie Hannah for everything. So please go follow me on Instagram now.
Beautiful. Guys, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, my distinguished guest. We appreciate you for coming on. We'll be back here again, hopefully next week, 7 o'clock as always, guys. And we'll talk about Married at First Sight again, episode 14. Hopefully, things are on the up for Miles and Karen. She can never. We're praying and interceding. That's what we are. So guys, make sure you stay locked, stay loaded, and enjoy your night as well.